acceptable to you, O God, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. I hate to say this, but every one of us is a liar. We do. I mean, we lie. We call them little white lies, and then we have the really big lies. We don't really care about the little white lies. We kind of care about the big lies. Like if someone says, you ought to go to such and such restaurant. Man, their food is great. We go there, and we get something to drink or we get something to eat, and it tastes like cardboard. Someone has lied to us. And we come back and we say to them that invited us and told us about it, we tell them, oh, it was great. It was, oh man, I'm going to go back again. I should have got 2 helpings of it. We lied. If someone asks us how we're doing, and we say, oh, we're doing great, and inside we are hurting like big dogs. We kind of lie to them. Jesus was one of the most controversial figures in Jewish history and in the history of the world. He broke down just about every barrier there was of race, sexism, religion, and economic levels, and offered all the people unlimited and unconditional love, grace, and mercy. It did not matter who they were. They all could receive it. The poor didn't have to buy it. The rich didn't have to have a status to get it. And all this talk about being personally acquainted with God really irritated the Pharisees. Jesus was acquainted with God because it was his Father. He was the creator of the universe. He came to earth to show us the truth. In fact, he was the truth. And in this parable, it's not like the others, about the lost sheep or the lost coin or the workers in the field. Jesus puts it right out there, right in clear, open, concise words. He didn't mix them at all. Peter probably called it a parable because he didn't understand what in the world Jesus was saying. Peter is the one that reminds us of all of us. Every time Jesus teaches, we seem to scratch our head and go, well, wait a minute, what is that? You can see it in the whole gospel story. Peter is the one that is kind of dense. And back in the day, all of us need to hear the truth in such a way that we can understand it. If we don't understand it, we don't understand the whole of what Jesus is bringing us, coming here to tell us. Back in the day, if it was on television, it was the truth. Remember that? I saw it. It was on TV. I heard it. I saw it. Now, if it's on the internet, it's got to be the truth. And we can manipulate videos. We can do all kinds of things to that to make it look real, The little video about the man that got hit by a car, and you think, my gosh, you've seen it? Have you seen that one? You go, whoop! That's a lie. That's not even the truth. They manipulated that. But somewhere down the line, we've lost the truth in our life. We don't even know what the truth is anymore. There is so much of this manipulation going on that no one knows hide a hair of what the truth is. It was Benjamin Franklin who said, don't believe anything that you hear, and only half of what you read. I don't know about you, but sometimes I just get frustrated. You watch the news, you read the paper, you read on the internet, you don't even know what to believe anymore. That's frustrating. Sometimes you just want to throw your hands hands up and say, I'm out of here. Come get me Jesus. But in this story, flash, breaking news, the Pharisees were offended by what Jesus said. The truth hit them square in the power spot. The more Jesus talked and talked and talked, the less power the Pharisees had. But bear in mind, this was not so much about religion as it was about being political. I hate to say that, but in all our lives, it is a political struggle. Okay? Who's right? Who's wrong? Who's got the power? It was a power struggle between Jesus and the established order. It was truth versus power. Although the truth was about washing your hands before you eat a kosher meal, Jesus said, not doing it doesn't make you unclean. And when he said that, the big vein in the Pharisees' neck began to pop out so big it was about to explode. Because it was back to the struggle of power. If a person was considered unclean, there were many laws against them, the Pharisees would say, none of which was the least being an outcast. So if you didn't wash your hands just right, and you had that kosher sandwich, you could be considered unclean. Bill, you could be unclean. And I wouldn't even know. And then we'd have that, move you on out. You're an outcast. But you know what Jesus said? This is stupid. This is stupid. It doesn't make a person unclean just because they didn't wash their hands. And how many people do not wash their hands before they take a meal? Be honest. We're talking about food. Anybody out there? Thank you, John. Thank you, Andre. Thank you, Jenny. I bet you the rest of y'all didn't raise your hands. Y'all didn't. Y'all eat just as big as I do. Just a little bit. But the truth can indeed be offensive. Jesus had this thing about offending folks, not just folks, but the power struggle. The truth really can be offensive. Our country is being torn apart each moment over political ideologies. And the truth is, if we don't get our act together, we will continue down this destructive path until we will resemble something of a wasteland of baboons. Families are looking like the aftermath of a WWF tag team rumble match over religious issues. People are living in a kind of fear which makes it look like a witch hunt, being suspicious of their neighbors and friends, and especially those who have dark complexion and black hair. The truth is, if we don't come together and celebrate the ties that bind us, rather than those that separate us, as Martin Luther King Jr. said, we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. I find it particularly offensive to see children literally begging for food and water and medical supplies in Africa and other third world countries. But the truth is, we can do much more than what we're doing for all people. Can you imagine what the world would be like if we quit dropping bombs and began dropping medical supplies and food? Just imagine. I find it particularly offensive to see people, single moms and single dads, working 2 and 3 jobs a day just to make ends meet. These are the working poor. But the truth is, our economy is killing us. If we don't find a solution quickly, we will see more people die at an early age just from the stress. I find it particularly offensive to see children having children, and grandma and grandpa who should be in the autumn of their life are strapped down with raising children, grandchildren. The truth is, we have failed to teach and demonstrate what love is to our young people, what self-respect is, and what self-esteem is. People don't know what love is anymore. I find it particularly offensive when I see different cultures and different religions put down and called pagans or heathens. But the truth is, we should embrace our diversities and say, like Jesus said, those who are not against us are for us. Jesus taught religious tolerance. Jesus was not giving his own personal opinion to his disciples. He was giving them the truth. In my opinion, Jesus wasn't on earth long enough. If the disciples who lived and ate with Jesus for 3 years couldn't grasp some of his teachings, well, Jesus will just have to come back and give us a refresher course. So you see, the truth can be offensive if it doesn't make sense to us. I want to share a story. American Indian story.